Okay, so I don't really feel better, but I know that I look better when sitting on here. But yeah, I am still not quite okay. But yeah, headed into something that's fine. I want to talk about the difference between lust and bliss because I've just come across Christina Milian, and I know I used to love her actually when I was very young. I don't know. I don't think I thought about her throughout this whole tribulation or anything, and maybe I have, maybe I haven't. I can't remember. I can't remember, but I know that I was a big fan of hers. And yeah, when I saw it just on the side, and I was like, okay, I love this song. She's got to be something. And yeah, I think she's the Angel of Bliss because, well, there's not that many of them though. You would have thought that there would have been, well, probably not. Maybe because I stopped feeling bliss. I don't know. I mean, I have felt bliss. I have felt bliss, but there is a difference between lust and bliss. Lust involves like two people. This is how I would describe it. You might have a different interpretation, but this is how I would. I think lust, it's more about dicks and sex and penis and it's I would say it's better because it's about being with someone else other than you. It's like playing a game of snakes and ladders. You can enjoy it, but it's better when there's someone else there. And I think bliss is if you're on your own and you're just depressed and you want to just, I don't know, think about something better, then bliss is perfect because it's more about your individual mind state. It's not about looks, it's just about feeling. I feel like how I would describe bliss is just like living in like a big white light, and it's very powerful and it's very strong and it's very nice. And I feel like when the world is just so evil and horrible, I feel like I can switch my mind to live in bliss, and I feel so much better and happier. And I also feel like that's where all the Disney princesses characters come from, kind of like the world of bliss. I know there is a lot of sexual elements in the Disney videos, Disney films and stuff. That bliss is kind of like more innocent. It's like more innocence, um, and I feel like when you have an orgasm as well, like you can get a really strong connection with people through that, and it's actually pure because it's not about dicks and penises. It's just about a really strong, intentional feeling. And I often find that if I want to connect with a certain type of people, I do find that having an orgasm is probably how it's actually done. Um, and so I need to say I have no problem with talking about it. I usually do. Sometimes I have a problem talking about it, and sometimes I don't. It depends on what mood I'm in. Um, but I'm an adult. We're all adults. I think we're all, I don't know who's watching these videos, but um, yeah, there's but yeah, lust is it's better in a way because I feel like if you're trying to have an orgasm and you start thinking about just having sex, like penis or boobs or bodily stuff, I feel like you can actually have a much better orgasm when thinking about it. Like I don't like sex, I'm asexual, but I do like having an orgasm using. It's not a dildo. It's just like something that goes on the outside, which I don't like the. I don't feel like I need to do that. I just feel like you just need some vibration or stimulation, and I find that that's the best way. But yeah, thinking about lust whilst trying to do that is the orgasms are usually better. Bliss is something more I do if I feel like the world is just shit. Um, Thinking about bliss is it's nice and it's pure and it's sweet as well as strong and powerful. But yeah, I think that's how I would describe the difference between lust and bliss. I feel like though I would struggle. Lust is something I struggled with. Like I definitely felt it towards Martin, but I also felt like I was under a strong love spell, and why I liked him never really kind of made any sense to me. Yeah, I'd find it hard to feel lust towards an individuals because I don't really like that many people, and I don't like anyone really. I feel like this land is kind of like toilet land, and I think if I liked you, you wouldn't be here. I feel like everyone's suffering here, but if I liked you, I wouldn't want you to suffer. Hence, you'd be somewhere else. The thing is, I feel like the only reason why everyone here is not people I like is because I've taken souls as I've grown the souls. You have like a test, there's like a matrix, there's like a test to see sort of how racist or how sexist or how intelligent you are, or what your things are. Okay, there's lots of new souls, or not old souls, but souls that haven't been human. They get added into the mix, and then you get some that just have a life after life, but then there's always big gaps in between it. So, but there's a sort of stage where you get to. There's like a point where you can become so nice of a person that you no longer belong in this part of the timeline. But if that's the case, then your lives would be more spread out over the timeline, if that makes sense. And so, yeah, everyone at this stage is reaching a point of evolution where I probably don't really like you, because if you had evolved more, well, I wouldn't have allowed you to have so many lives, hence you wouldn't have evolved anymore. And you will still get lives in the future, but yeah, it's been spaced out so that if you have a life where you just suffer hugely, but at the same time you learn to be a much better person, you might actually find yourself having less lives in the past. But then again, because the past was so shit, less lives would actually be a better thing, because you don't really want to live back there because they didn't have electricity, or electric blankets or electricity and stuff. So but yeah, I think it's a very complex system, and it's designed so that most people here are people I don't like. Almost all of them, I think. But anyway, that's the difference. Why I would struggle to feel lust towards someone unless I'm under some sort of spell. But Bliss is nice too. But yeah, I feel like I'm going to remain asexual, um, until either I find someone who I like enough to change that. But yeah, I don't think there's that many people who would. But yeah, I think I'm asexual, but only just because the standard of guy here is just pretty low. Whereas I feel like if this world was a much better place, and if the standard was much higher, then and I'm sure it will be in the future, then yeah, I probably wouldn't call myself asexual.